I refused to donate my kidney to my father, who kicked me out of the house and disinherited me, and now everyone in my family is against me. My father and I never had a good relationship. For some reason, he always wanted a daughter, and when I was born, he seemed too disappointed and said he didn't want to take care of me. He told my mother it would be better to put me up for adoption and try again. Of course, my mother argued with him a lot about this, and hearing it while growing up was horrible, but eventually, I got used to it and just accepted that when my mother had a daughter, I would just go live with another family. Unfortunately, my mother passed away in an accident shortly after having my sister. My father was devastated, and for a while, he even started treating me better, maybe as a way to honor my mother since he knew she liked me a lot. But that didn't last long, because when he realized he would have to spend money on me that he could spend on his beloved daughter, he saw me as a burden in his life. He tried several times to put me up for adoption, but he couldn't. Honestly, I wish he had succeeded, because he and I never had a good relationship. We only talked to argue, and I always had to work to get anything I wanted, including food, besides having to pay rent to him. But one day, when I came home, my things were all thrown out on the sidewalk, and the locks had been changed. I tried to call him, but he said he was traveling with my sister and that when he came back, I shouldn't be there anymore. He also said he had removed me from the inheritance and simply couldn't consider me his son, and hoped I understood that. Honestly, I think that was the lowest point in my life. I knew he didn't like me, but it was different. He simply didn't care about me or what happened to me, and now he had shown that. To sum up, it was difficult at first, but soon I realized that anything was better than staying with my father. A friend managed to get me a job at his father's company, and I really got along well with him, and nowadays I consider him the father I never had while growing up, and I even lived with them for a while. Of course, I cut off contact with my father after everything that happened, but occasionally, my sister would send me messages to update me on what was happening at home. Until recently, she told me I should go there urgently. Honestly, I didn't want to go, and I told her that, but she said I might regret it, and she recommended that I go. Despite being against it, I ended up going, and my father was there, sitting with the rest of the family, waiting for me to talk about something. It had been decades since I had seen him in person, and honestly, it was very strange. When I sat down, he began to explain to me that he was sick and had joined the donation list, but he urgently needed a kidney or he wouldn't survive, and he hoped I could give mine. I asked if he was serious, and then the tone of everyone in the room changed. He said yes, so I told him that for decades, he never cared to look for me or talk to me, never helped me in anything, kicked me out of the house without money or warning, and now that he needs me, he just expects me to sacrifice my health to help him. He said he's my father and that I should do it because it's the right thing to do, and then I told him he's not my father, he never was, and he himself said he didn't even consider me as a son. Everyone in my family started arguing with me, saying I was ungrateful, so I also told them that they all knew how I was treated and never helped me, and they were as bad as my father. I left after that, but everyone keeps making posts against me, saying how I was a cruel son, sending messages telling me to change my mind, and so on. Honestly, I don't plan to change my mind. They can't even do anything against me. I don't need their help, and I never could count on it. I'm not in the inheritance, and I don't even have contact with most of them. I plan to just ignore them and move on with my life, but at the same time, I want to file a lawsuit to make them stop exposing me on social media as if I were doing something wrong. To be honest, I don't even know if what I'm doing is right. I just think it's unfair after all this time for him to ask for something so precious when he never gave me anything. You can now check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more.